Alright guys, welcome back to the course. So just to recap some things here, we're going to recreate this project. So let's quickly create a kick drum here, quick drum pattern, or instead of just drawing that out, we can just right click here, fill each 4 steps, and now we have a kick pattern. Cool. So what we're gonna do here is to rename this pattern here, rename and color, kick, and let's color it red. So now we have the kick drum. So let's create a new pattern here, and we're gonna call this clap and snare. Oh yeah, we can also color it as well. And by the way, if you don't know the color that you want for each instrument, you can just right click here on this pattern, random color. That's it. You can do it that way. So now we have a new pattern here, and I'm going to create a clap like that and a snare like that. Very nice. So let's go back to the kick drum here to just select it and have it on the playlist, and select this pattern, the clap and snare, and have it there as well. So I'm going to rename the playlist arrangement here as well. Like that. And let's go with change color. Yeah, and we want the same color basically, just so we're not confused. So this is that color, and we have a red there as well. Great. We can also change the icon here. So let's say we have a kick drum. That is a kick drum. Claps and snares. So let's do that, for instance. Very nice. So now we can play the song. And there is our song for now. Let's create a new pattern. So pattern 3, and we're going to call this hats. Let's go with the color here as well. Something yellow would be good. And I want to fill each 2 steps. And now we have a hat here as well. So let's play the pattern. Very nice. So we have the hats here, and let's rename color and icon this as well to hats. And we want the same kind of yellow there as well. And now just place the hats pattern there. So now if you choose the song mode, we have a full drum beat now. So that's very nice. What we can do here is to group these tracks, these 3 tracks here, to one track. So what you will do here is to right click on the track that you want to group with. So let's say I want to group these 2 tracks with this first track here. I just go to the track that I want to group with above track like that, and do the same thing as well here on the hats track. So now you can see the kick, claps and snare and hats track are grouped together. So you can expand and do like that for this whole group here. So it's very nice. You can just do it like that, and you can minimize things and organize things this way. To group a lot of tracks here, you can just right click on each track, press the letter G like that, and now you can group a lot of different tracks here. It's very handy to have here when organizing stuff in your project, is to just go with auto color group. That will color all of these tracks that you have grouped together. So now it's a lot more organized. You can see the red little background here on all of the clips here that you're going to use in the arrangement in the playlist here. We're working with a channel rack here, and we're working with a step sequencer. What you can do here is to open up the piano roll, and that will give you a lot more flexibility when creating notes. So you can just choose whatever instrument you want here. Let's say we have the kick, clap, and hat and snare. You can just right click on one of them and choose piano roll, and that will take you to the piano roll of the instrument that you clicked. So you can also see that piano roll and the kick. So if I open up clap here, for instance, that's going to open up the piano roll for the clap. And here I can create notes, a lot more precise notes. So like we have now, for instance, in the pattern of the collapse and snares here. So let's go to that pattern like that. And now let's go to the piano roll. And now we can see the notes that we created here. So it's basically the same thing as the step sequencer, but you have a lot more flexibility within a piano roll. So what you can do here, you can, let's say we want to resize that note, for instance. You can create new notes. You can pitch notes. You can also delete them by just right-clicking the mouse like that. And you also have the control here. So here you can control different velocities, release. Yeah, you have a lot of different things you can control here. So you're actually controlling the note that you're writing out in the piano roll. So if I want to, like, let's say I want a lower velocity on one of the notes, let's say this note here, I can just lower the velocity like that. Let's take a more in-depth look of the piano roll. So to create a new instrument here, you can just go with the plus sign here, or you can also go to add, and here you have all of the plugins. But let's just go with the plus sign here for now, and I'm gonna go with Fruity or FL Keys. And this is a very basic piano plugin that comes with FL Studio. I'm just playing that on my keyboard here. And as you can see, if let's just create a new pattern here and just call it piano. Let's color it as well. Great. So now if I just go with this step sequencer here, it will only play the middle C of this note. So let's play that. And I can't really do anything here. So let's get rid of that and open up the piano roll like that. So now we have the piano roll here. You can also make it full size like that just by double clicking the title bar here. So now if I want to create a, let's say a chord here, I can just draw out a chord. Let's do that. In FL Studio is one of the best piano rolls I think out there on all of the digital audio workstations out there. For instance, I've been using Logic a lot and Ableton Live a lot, but FL Studio is by far the best piano roll when it comes to flexibility and how to work with different notes. There are a lot of different tools you can use here. I'm not going to go through exactly all of the tools because that would make the course like a year long or something like that. So I want you to explore a lot of these different functions by yourself. I'm going to use a lot of functions when I create the tracks, so you will see how I use them. But if you go to this menu here, you can see all of the different things you can do here in the piano roll. So for instance, you have transpose up and down, which is very handy to have, or one octave up or one octave down, for instance. You have all of the tools here. You can create quick legato, quick quantize, you can arpeggiate, for instance. You have different views you can use, such as key labels, for instance. So you can have all notes showing up here like this. This is very handy as well. You can zoom in and out. You see all of the different key commands here just on the side of the selected thing here. So you have time markers as well. You can create time markers within the piano roll. Yeah, you have a lot of things here, but we're going to focus on the creation of the notes here. So you have all of the different brush tool, pen tool, select tool, and zoom tool, for instance. So just to show you very quickly here, what I use is the draw tool. So with the draw tool, you can create notes like that, and you can also delete notes by just right click. So you left click to create the note and right click to delete it. You can also delete multiple notes like this. And if you want to create notes like that or multiple notes like that, then you go to the paint tool and that will make it like that. So let's go back to the draw tool here. And what I use very often, let's say that I create a chord here and I want to create a chord progression. So I'm going to use the same thing here as well. So instead of just drawing out notes like that, each and every note, you can just use control, just just hold Control and drag with your mouse like this. So you can now select the notes. If you have a Mac, you're just going to hit and hold the Command key and do the same thing. So now I can just do it like this, and I can basically copy and paste it. Now I can just drag it out like that. And I can do the same thing with all of these notes. So let's say that I do it like this, and now I can just move them. Very boring chord progression here. So let's zoom out a bit. You can see you can zoom it like this, and you can also, let's close the channel rack here. I'm going to create a new chord progression here. So let's do it like this. I'm going to lower the tempo a bit. All right, so now I want to use the same notes here, but I'm going to change it up a bit. Yeah, and instead of doing that, you can just select them all here, just drag them down like that. All right, so we can zoom a bit here, as you can see, and I'm going to copy these as well. And now I'm going to do something else here. So let's say I select these notes. Not the best masterpiece I've done, but just to show you how to quickly create notes. So let's take a look at the transposition here. So if I have a lot of different notes selected, or one note, let's say, I can just pull Shift and just go with the up and down arrows on my keyboard. And now I can just transpose it by a note here, or by going to Control up and down, or Command up and down on Mac. And I can go and hold Octave up and down. Let's take a look at the mixer now. I'm going to close the piano roll here. And now we have a pattern here called piano. So let's get it out here as well. I'm going to rename and color this track here and call it piano. And yeah, we have such a brownish green kind of color. So let's do that as well. So now I have the piano track here. So we want to assign this piano track and the kick track as well to different mixer channels. So to do that, we can go to our channel rack here, and here you see a little field here that shows you a number. So the number 1 here is linked to the mixer and the mixer channel number 1, or insert 1 here. So I can just, let's say that I want the kick, clap, and the hat and snare to be linked to the same mixer channel. Then I can just go and select it to number 1 here, like that. So now all of these tracks here will play in through the mixer channel 1. So let's disable the piano track for now. I can do that by just clicking there. Now you can see it's not lit up like that, like the other tracks here. So let's just play it and take a look at the mixer. Of course, you need to change it to the song mode. So you can see it's playing through the mixer channel number 1 because we set all of these to mixer channel 1. We don't have the piano set here to any mixer channel, so let's set it to number 2. And let's enable that as well. It's very low in volume. Okay, so I'm going to chain up the velocity here. So what I do here is to just draw it out like that. And now we have full velocity on all of these notes. And this should sound a lot louder. Oh, that was a lot louder. To our mixer here, you can see that here we have a little pan dial here. So this is for all of the different mixer channels. Then we have reverse polarity, so you can reverse that in the mixer here. You can swap left and right channels, so you can swap the different audio that comes from the left to the right and vice versa. Then you have stereo separation, so you can separate the stereo from the audio material that's coming out through this mixer track. Then we have the volume meter here. You have your different inserts, track latency, you can see that as well. You have ARM disk recording, so that comes to when we go to the recording section, you will see what that is all about. Let's take a look at the different inserts you can use in the mixer. So let's go with this piano section here, and we have its mixer section selected here. So when we have that, we can go to this section where you can see the different slots. So what you will do here is to choose one of these slots, and the signal will actually travel through these slots. So if you choose one plugin to be, for instance, on slot 1, that will travel through that plugin and then come to the plugin that you have set on slot 2, and so on and so forth. So let's say slot 1 here, I can just go with, let's say, a delay plugin here like that. And now you will hear the delay coming through, or the signal coming through the delay, and then back to the master track here. And then you have different presets as well, but this is just for this plugin here. So let's close that, and you will see that we have this insert. You can also push how much you want of the effect to be routed through this track here. So basically how much output you want of the effect here. You can also enable and disable that as well. And one more thing that is very nice to know with the mixer is the different view sections. So you can actually have it like this, set up like that, and you will see the big overview of all of your tracks. And yeah, you have a lot of different pre-styled views here. I like this view very much. You can see all of the different inserts here, and yeah, as you know, with all of the things in FL Studio, you can just right click, rename, color, and icon. So this was our piano, right? And we have a green color. So now we have this set as well in the mixer. So we're done with our very short track here for now. So I'm just going to show you how to export and save this track. So you can just save it like you want, and you can just choose a location on your hard drive. So you just save it, rename it, and you have it saved on your hard drive as an FLP file. So you can just open it on FL Studio. If you want to export the track, you can do it by go to export here, and you can choose WAV, MP3, and all of the different files here. So let's say that we want it to be a WAV file. I can just do it like this and choose it. This is a Mac, as you can see here, so it may look a bit different on your computer. But if you go to export, let's say that we want it to be an MP3 file, you can do it like this as well. So if you pass through that save window, you just go and save, you will get this little window here. And you will see all of different modes if you want to export just the pattern or the full song. And you can choose if you want the tail to be leave or if you want it to be cut in the end. So let's say you have a lot of different reverbs at the end. You can just tell FL Studio to let the reverb tail to be played and recorded in the export, or if you just want it to be cut whenever the patterns are ending in the playlist arrangement, even though there may be like a reverb tail or something like that. So you can choose wave, MP3, all of these different outputs here as well. You have quality and you have different stuff here as well. So we're going to go through the export settings in a later video in the course, so you will see that as well. But you can also see the length here. This is very nice to have, and the disk space that this track will take up when you have this exported. All right, guys, so this is a very, very brief introduction to FL Studio. Let's dive deep into FL Studio in the next lectures. So see you there.